Anime Recap Guy welcomes you back to the virtual space, where previously Code GU had gone over to the other side, which left Amber at risk. Let's see what happens next. GU might have underestimated Amber a little bit because, well, her blast knuckle is wreaking havoc as she flings GU over and over again. Then again, since he knows she has never really killed anyone, he is confident in beating her. Just then, GU's younger self appears, and we know what it'll do, right? Manipulate and brainwash, of course. Slashing his crafted knife at Amber, GU hesitates a tiny bit, but that was enough for her to realize that GU was truly aiming to kill her. They are both interrupted by the opening of the door behind them that had locked them out. Code GU, closely followed by Phil, come through the door, and quite shockingly, Code GU transforms into Longtail and introduces himself as the alter ego of the AI. Let's take a walk into the future to gain a bit of understanding now, shall we? So, Old Man Hammer realizes that he requires a character that has both good and bad qualities to go up against the AI, and hence approaches Old Man GU in prison in the future in order to acquire a digital copy of his brain to help save the world. Yes, highly ironic that a serial killer is saving the world, but let's move on, because even Old Man Phil volunteers to help. When Longtail explains all this to Phil, GU, and Amber in the present, they don't believe him at first, but GU soon realizes that the AI has the perfect characteristics combination of GU and himself. When Phil asks how Longtail managed to win on his own once before, he demonstrates the blade that Hammer designed for him that can almost cut through virtual space. While that is how it worked last time, it isn't as effective this time around. The AI appeals to GU about his position in this war, and pledging his alliance on the opposite side, GU disappears. Yeah, you heard that right. Dude just vanished. Longtail guarantees Phil and Amber that he will help them through the first phase, beyond which they will have to improvise. At the fortress, where the American branch has held Hammer and Mr., Hammer is confessing his worries about their progress. He says that with just 20 minutes to go, the nuclear weapons will go off globally, even if they destroy the satellite. Having convinced Mr. to go against the fortress for the sake of his daughter, Hammer causes a diversion and then escapes from the holding room with Mr. Getting to his laptop, he promptly gets to work, hacking the American military facility in order to stop the attack on the satellite. Meanwhile, Longtail is working his blade at the AI and is met with its latest defense mechanism, Song Ji-yu. Immune to the code, he counterattacks Longtail on behalf of the AI. Phil warns Amber that GU can now hack into them just by staring at them. While GU and Amber brace themselves against GU's next attack, the AI proceeds to give GU his next order. But before it can really say anything, GU rudely interrupts and asks whether it really thought he would fight on its side. Oh, serial killer Song Ji-yu does have a conscience after all. Oh my god, while Strider faces an S-level code, Behemoth, in the forest along with the other team members. Having defeated the Behemoth once before and lived to tell the tale, Strider is confident about their chances. If they have to face just one S-level code, well, the AI is somewhat busy dealing with GU right now, so maybe we will just have this one for now. While GU attempts to tell the AI how complex humans are, he willingly gets overtaken by the code to apparently have some fun. Well, fun for GU is always going to be dueling with Phil, so here it is. Isolating with Phil on a quarry, Code GU informs Phil of his future plans. He aims to save Phil's life, only to ensure that he repeatedly experiences death as his prey. While an intense battle ensues between the two of them, Succubus notes that Phil's BTP falls by more than half. Phil immediately crafts multiple stones and gets them to rain on Code GU on the edge of the cliff. But even being buried under the weight of all the stones and an additional pillar, that was not enough to subdue Code GU as he surpasses everything and gets out unharmed. He begins repeatedly attacking Phil, whose BTP has now fallen to a dangerously low 40. When it looked like all hope has been lost, for Phil anyway, Longtail and Amber get there to face Code GU. There are now only 15 minutes left on the clock for the team to take down Behemoth before the launch of the nuclear missiles globally. Meanwhile, Hammer manages to stop the destruction of the satellite by successfully hacking into the American military facility with just 5 minutes to go. go. But it isn't looking all that great at the moment, what with the behemoth tossing the forcers and destroying their attack. Down to just 10 minutes, Strider announces a change in plan, quickly explaining how BTP Receive works with everyone's continuous efforts while preserving the flow of the individual BTP. Strider declares Blitz as the first attacker. The guy who hid and then died in training, you ask? Yeah, the very same. Stormbringer Blitz gets to work on his attack, while another team member, Ji-hoon, assists with crafting the weather. Using Damage Multiplier, the two direct lightning at the behemoth to stiffen him. Agni then uses his fire powers to melt the alloy locking chamber that Professor Won Chom crafts. They're doing this because of Behemoth's immunity to fire. After one round of hitting the behemoth with lightning and molten metal, Ji-hoon suggests another round to keep the momentum strong. The constant attack with lightning and metal drives everyone's BTP to drastically low levels. Surprisingly, this is when Ida steps in to take matters in her hands. Even the chief joins Professor Won Chom and crafts an alloy bullet. Bogung offers the chief an accuracy card designed by Hammer to enhance target accuracy by 80%. Taking careful aim of his gun, the chief fires the shot, which lands exactly where it's supposed to be and pierces Behemoth. But not too much seems to be damaging it, as he quickly regenerates. Without missing a beat, Strider jumps into action and crafts multiple iron knives, and applying the damage multiplier card, he attacks the behemoth. This time it causes massive explosions, bringing about the end of the behemoth. Seeing the team's success, the leader of the Fortress's American branch orders the rebooting of the railguns to destroy the satellite to be stopped. An exultant succubus demands for Hammer to be brought back to finish the threat once and for all. And oh, did you forget about Phil and Amber with code GU? With a completely exhausted BTP, Phil is rendered immobile and unable to put up a fight against code GU, much less defeat him. And while Amber makes a few attempts, she causes code GU absolutely no harm at all. As he always has up until now, Longtail appears at the exact right time for help. Looking at Phil's plight, he suggests that a combination of his power and Phil's skill could manage to overthrow the invincible Code GU. As a shocked Code GU stands witness with Amber, Longtail merges himself with Phil and, whoa, a yellow-eyed Phil emerges. Should I call him Long Phil for the sake of convenience? Yeah, I can? Okay, good. Moving on. With good and bad poised to go into battle, it sure does seem like there will be just one winner here. Where Code GU continues to think of Phil as a weak coward, but, well, Long Phil matches every attack with a powerful counter, and like every interesting villain, this development only intrigues Code GU even more. While this battle intensifies, Hammer is running into trouble, trying to find a solution to help Long Phil. Seeing his predicament, Succubus suggests an absolutely genius move. She says that since the AI seems to be able to handle just one S-level code at a time, they could just as easily overload the system and cause its shutdown. Almost immediately, Code GU feels the pressure of the overload, and Long Phil realizes his opportunity. A dummy behemoth appears and proceeds to repeatedly stomp on Code GU. An irritated Code GU uses his skills to absorb the dummy in order to get rid of it. The power the AI has granted GU makes it so he feels like he is in charge of things here, but little does he know that this overconfidence was about to cost him big time, because the real person in charge of things here is our very own Hammer. The evil genius included a hacking tool in the dummy, which has now been absorbed by Code GU. Seeing Code GU grow weak, Phil is overcome by the urge to defeat him on his own. Separating from Longtail, Phil prepares to get his revenge, but he quickly realizes that Code GU might be weak, but he can still pack a mean punch. What Code GU doesn't know here is that Phil is actually trying to save him. You didn't think that the Phil we've known for so long was suddenly going to kill GU, right? Code GU continues on his power trip when Phil tries to knock some sense into him by reminding him that once Fortress realizes that he's been overtaken by the AI, they won't hesitate in killing him. Phil also informs him that his death might ultimately be for nothing because who knows if the AI would be destroyed with his death. Now, all of this has been happening after Phil's discussion with Longtail, where they concluded that the only way to save GU's life, despite all of his selfishness, would be to lure the AI out of GU. All of Phil's talk is a bait for the AI to separate itself from GU, just so Longtail can do the needful. Now remember, this is how AI is to be manipulated if ever it tries to gain authority over us. Having successfully lured the AI away from GU, Phil makes to slash at it, only to have his blade replaced by a wooden stick by the AI. Just then, GU hacks Phil's head off, and Phil wakes up from yet another nightmare. A while after Strider and the team congratulate him on his victory, Phil speaks to Succubus and Hammer. They inform him that the threat has been neutralized, at least for now, and that Mr. has assured everyone that there will be systems in place to tackle such a threat again when and if it arises in the future. Looking through the database of the fortress for GU, Phil reads that he was killed in action. This brings back his memory of back when Longtail urged Phil to destroy the core of the AI, which caused a blast. Barely having managed to save Amber, Phil himself slips and falls only to find GU attempting to save him. Selfish GU saved Phil? Now talk about an epic character development. So, in flinging out Phil and Amber to safety, GU fell to his death, but he existed in the future, didn't he? Okay, let's not get ahead of myself here. I'm sure there's a perfectly non-insane explanation coming up. Following GU's fall, Hammer had created a portal for Phil to escape amidst the complete breakdown of the virtual space, and Phil had carried Amber through it to safety. Back in the present day, Amber comes looking for Phil when he is wondering what GU's objective could have been. Even Amber doesn't have an answer for this, considering only GU would know for sure what was in his mind when he suddenly shed his selfishness. Phil, Bogung, and Hammer soon go back to school, and life continues as usual for everyone. What goes unnoticed is the satellite through which GU is desperately calling out for help, and who soon transforms into the code, promising to come back for revenge from everyone who betrayed him. Now, how do you think revenge would look like for an AI? Well, it took Code GU a few years, but he got there. His team members, Agni, Blitz, and Akasha, died mysterious deaths while doing the most mundane things. What about Phil, you ask? Well, Master Level Phil one day received a call from his old friend, who invited him to another round for old time's sake. Never one to leave a challenge alone, Phil finds a link chair and settles in. Well, that was the roller coaster called The Unknown Code. What did you think about it? What other manhwa would you like my opinion on? Tell me everything in the comments below, and I'll see you next time. See ya!